Okay, welcome to the solution to the product problem here. And the requirement here was basically to create a class that had some methods and a constructor. And the methods and constructors were specified to you in the problem statement. The class you're supposed to create is a product, and the product has 3 instance variables or fields. And these should always be private. And it's the code for the product, the price of the product, which is a double, and then the inventory, the amount of product that you have. And these are all declared as usual up top here, and instance variables are declared as private. And these are the scope of these variables exists within the entire class, all of the methods of the class. They represent the class's state. Now we're going to have a constructor, and the constructor we were supposed to have should take all 3 possible instance variables, code, price, and count. And you should set your instance variables equal to these 3 parameters. Now I'm using this dot here to say that the code I want to set is the product's instance variable. And that has to be done because this variable has the same name as this variable. And you have to be clear which one you're referring to. So this one is referring to the parameter, while this one is referring to the instance variable because I stuck this in front of that. If I had called this something else like code X, then you could have used X here and you wouldn't have needed the this, because now it's clear which one you're talking about without the this. But if you use the same name, then you need to use this when you're specifying the instance variable and just code when you're specifying the parameter. Okay, same thing with price and count. We're going to set our instance variables, the state of this class, equal to the parameters that are passed. Then we need a set code method, which lets us change the value of the code. Again, it takes a parameter, which is the new value of code, and we're going to set the instance variable equal to that new value. Now we've got a get code, which is supposed to return the value of the instance variable, so we just use return this.code. We've got another set, just like set code, but this time for set price, where we pass the price, set our instance variable equal to that value, and a get for price, which returns the price. Set count is a little bit trickier because the problem said that if you specify count that is less than 0, it should be equal to 0. So what we do is we set count equal to the value that was passed. And if that value is less than 0, we're going to change our minds and set count equal to 0. That ensures that if the user tries to set the count to something less than 0, it will be set to 0. Get count is your typical getter method, which returns the value of count. And then add inventory is designed to increase the count. It's supposed to increase the account by a certain amount. So we pass the amount as a parameter, and then we take the current count, add the amount that you're increasing it by, and set the count equal to that. So your count or inventory will be equal to what it was plus whatever the user passed. And finally, selling inventory does the opposite. It should subtract the amount passed from the inventory, which is count. So we take the count, we set it equal to the count's current value minus the amount that we're selling. And again, the problem asked you to make sure that the count doesn't go less than 0. And if it does, set it equal to 0. So if the amount is bigger than the count will become a negative number. And if that's the case, we'll set it equal to 0. And that is it. That is the solution. This is just a very straightforward class that doesn't have too much complexity in it. Your typical constructor, getters and setters, and then a little bit of complexity here when we're doing some checking on the value of the instance variables. All right, cheers.